Here's episode number 3 now. These are tools I purchased online from a couple web stores. Not sure where to start from. Maybe I'll start off with these vessel drivers. Vessel is becoming pretty well known among certain groups of tool enthusiasts. These are made in Japan. These happen to be sort of, I guess, a limited edition model from them, celebrating their 100th anniversary from 1916 to 2016. It's a gel grip, which is not terribly uncommon. Well, maybe it's not a very common feature. Certainly not in North American brands. This cushiness, can't really put that into show that to you visually, but maybe right there. The only other well-known brand that has that gel grip is a brand from Germany called Philo. Their ergonic series. It's sort of similar to that, but the overall design is not found anywhere else. This is a very standard Japanese screwdriver design. It's been around for decades. Well, I guess for a century now, because as that one shows there, that wooden grip, that has been the standard screwdriver design. That one says 1930. So gives you a background of where this ball grip design originates from. It is a vessel design. Vessel has been a key manufacturer in developing the JIS standard. So they were the first manufacturers in Japan to produce screwdrivers to the standards that, I guess, what they created themselves. These are made in Japan. This is again unique handle design. It's quite large in the ball area. Narrows down. Electricians, I believe, electrical trades like to use this design. Various ways you can handle it. You can grip it like that. For overhead work, you get a nice comfortable surface that rests on your palm for overhead work, and likewise for downward work. This area here where there is a rubber, these are rubberized. This is a hard plastic 2-component handle. So if you're working on something on the surface of the table, you have that area for gripping, for fast turning, for power driving. You get this large area for to give you that extra torque. So that's a 2-piece set. That's that. Next I'll move to, how about some Koken items. Koken's Torx bit drivers. And these are 3/8 drive. I think this was 140 millimeters, 14 centimeters, or 5.5 roughly in length. These are standard internal Torx. Koken does have the rights to call these Torx because they purchase they have the rights to manufacture them and call them Torx. Torx Acumen, was it? Some of the cheaper brands coming from places like China, yeah, you might find that they call it Star Drive. That's because they haven't been given the rights to use the Torx name. Colcan sockets all come with date stamps, manufacturing dates. So these are 2016 June, 2016 May. That's that. Here's this tab holder. I featured this in another video. This is their other size, number 1. Part number 3131A. Manufacturer 2017 February. 3/8 drive. So simply rotating this will open it to whatever size tap you may be using, and obviously a 3/8 drive, so you have various ways to drive that. Next up, this is impact grade T50 Torx in a 3/8 drive. I bought this one because I happen to use a T50. I work on quite a few T50 fasteners, and I happened to break my 5/16 inch Colcan bit. I was starting to I had 2 ribs that had cracked on me. That's from extensive use. The cracking of the 2 ribs, I would associate it with user error. User error because I was using it almost all the time on a wobble impact extension, and if you don't actually engage the fastener squarely because of the wobble extension, it was kind of, I wasn't necessarily engaging the Torx fastener squarely, and from the multiple hundreds of impacting, eventually it gave way. So I decided to get a dedicated Torx rated bit socket. Now, as you can see, that has a set screw, so in the event that this decides to capitulate into pieces, I have the ability to replace it with not just the T50 but any other size. Now, from the Zeal series, these yet again are Torx bits, 45, 50 and 55. Again, common sizes that I use. I'm going to upgrade to these Zeal ones. See how they hold up. Whoops. And next is this T60 IP. IP stands for Torx-Plus. So it's a Torx-Plus design, or profile I should say. This is in 1/2 inch drive. Torx-Plus. And oh, I got these little guys. I only had a few Colcan Zeal sockets in 1/4 inch drive. I never bought a set, so I decided to purchase these to complement my other ones that I already have. If I can get that to focus. camera is not cooperating. There we go. So that's a 5 mil. That's my pinky finger. Just to give you an idea of just how small these are. The largest one was a 13 that I got. I believe they make these up to 14 and a quarter inch drive. Yeah. Okay, next is, how about these? These are from a Japanese brand called Tone. These were clearance items. Got them for super cheap. Half-inch drive, 12-point sockets. Pretty standard stuff. Tone is known for more industrial stuff. Maybe kind of like a proto of Japan. Another Tone item I got is this Ratchet, Stubby Ratchet. It is roughly 4 1/4, or yeah, just over 11 centimeters. Fits in the hand, and nope, it's not a 3/8 drive. It's actually a half-inch drive. So this is a half-inch drive in a 3/8 body. Made in, not in Japan, but in Taiwan. That is deceptive. Yes, it may be designed. The handle, the design of the ratchet is indeed Japanese, but the manufacturing of the ratchet in its entirety is in Taiwan. Some of you discerning tool buyers or tool enthusiasts might recognize this shape. This is a very standard design because it is, how should I say, this head area is a design that's coming from one manufacturer in Taiwan called New Tools or High Five Products. Earlier I said that Tone designed this, but I should rather say that Tone designs the shape of the handle, the design of the handle, but the rest up here, very Taiwanese. Now earlier, just before I made this video, this was, well, before I say that, this was kind of like a buyer's remorse. Well, it's just the fact that I purchased this online. I never got to feel the ratcheting mechanism, or rather the back drag of the mechanism. I was kind of disappointed when I initially got it. It was very heavy back drag. As a matter of fact, if I held it in this position vertically and I rotated it, right now, by the weight of the handle and by itself, I'm able to get the ratchet to move. However, earlier, like initially when I got this, the back drag or the spring pressure, the pull against the teeth was rather tight. So tight that I was literally able to lift the entire ratchet. I wasn't able to actually get it to ratchet. So, if that makes sense to you, basically what that means is it was a very stiff ratchet with the heavy back drag. So what I did was disassembled the mechanism and what I did was I cut the springs off. Well, I shouldn't say the springs. I cut a section off of the spring. I apologize for my camera not being cooperative, but I know it's blurry, but you kind of get the sense of how much of the spring I took off. Very little amounts. It's just, this is very fine tuning. Oh, there we go. So I did a couple tries to get the right feel to where I am satisfied with the feel. So made a big difference. Let's see. Yeah, so that's that. Quick release. And here we have a KTC socket. 22mm and 3/8 drive. This is also on clearance. Well, it's sort of like a seconds, factory seconds. If you can notice that nick there from one of the production stages. So this was sold at a cheap price. So that's done. Moving over to some wrenches. Back to Koken. Now, Koken does not make wrenches. They never have. But yet, I'm holding this wrench. So why does it say Koken? Well, that's because Koken over the years, I guess they collaborated with a brand in Italy. I guess it's a brand that represents Italy. Italian tools, Beta. So this was a product, this is a wrench that was manufactured by Beta, and with Koken's name on it. Any European viewers would probably recognize this design. Very European in design. That shape on the open end, very Beta. I don't know which model number it is, but even the current Beta wrenches resemble this open head design. So this is a new old stock. This hasn't been offered by Koken in many years. Yeah. So it's a rare find. When I get the opportunity to, I will buy one in sizes that I will be using. Next up, some tools from Asahi. Probably a name that's probably has hardly any brand recognition outside of Japan. Yeah, kind of a unique design. It's won the Good Design Award several years ago. Made in Japan. So unlike, this sort of mimics European brands, where instead of being stamped, this is a raised, I guess it's all comes from the forging die. From the forging process, the brand name is already applied instead of being stamped in later stages of the production, typical of a lot of North American tools. So this is kind of like a European flavor to it. Alright, so that covers the items that I purchased online. I hope you enjoyed.